You grew up, you never left this area? Or did you?
Only when I worked.
And where did you work?
I worked for U.S. Steel,
Okay.
and I was in um, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
Duluth, St. Paul. I was in district sales in St. Paul in the office there. And then when Daddy died, I asked if I could get a transfer back, and I got back, and I was at Mountain Iron.
What was Tower-Soudan like when you were growing up?
Oh, it was fun. You didn't have to worry about anything, and we could play out in the street, which we did, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And we skated in the winter time. It was just a wonderful place.
Wonderful place to
Mm-hmm.
live. How has it changed over the years?
Cars. No kids had cars, or very few, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's changed. People aren't as friendly, I don't think,
Okay.
as they used to be. I don't know. It's different,
Mm-hmm.
but it's nice. It's a lot better than being in a big city.
Now, you said that Tower and Sedan have changed. What do you think brought about these changes primarily?
Well, the closing of the mine, and that was terrible. I knew about it a long time before it would close, and couldn't say a word, and that was hard. I'd sing in the choir and look down and think, oh, you people won't have jobs. That was hard.
I would say. What brought your family to this area?
Well, my grandparents lived here, and so, well, we just stayed. Daddy was gone for a while, though. This, before he was married, he was a coach in Wisconsin someplace.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came home on summertime and met Mom, and that's all it took. We stayed home.
And so both your mother and father were from this area?
From this area, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so both of the grandparents were also from this area?
Yeah.
What did you do in your job when you were working? What were some of the things you did?
Well, for one thing, I couldn't say anything. I knew that they were going to close the Sudan mine a long time before they did it, but that was my job. Everything was confidential.
Were you a secretary?
I was a secretary, yes.
Okay. And who did you work for specifically?
U.S. Steel.
U.S. Steel. And did you have a particular boss that you worked for?
Well, I worked, well, when I first was with them, I was local, but then I was out of the Pittsburgh office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you most value about your job? What did you like about your job?
I liked everything. The people I worked for were wonderful, and it was just a good job. Just a good job.
What did your mother and father do as professions?
My dad worked up at the mine.
Okay. In the Sudan mine?
In the Sudan mine, yes. And Mom, she just took care of the kids. And she did a lot of sewing.
For other people?
For other people. Mm-hmm. Majorette outfits, cheerleading outfits, and she made all my clothes. I never had something bought until I was probably, I bought something to see what it was like.
What stories have come down to you about your parents?
My parents, they took us on vacation. We always went someplace when it was time for, the line would close down for a while or whatever. But my dad wanted us to see all of our relatives, and we went to different places each summer for vacation.
Outside of Minnesota?
Outside of Minnesota, yeah. And sometimes we camped, and sometimes we didn't. And we go down to Tucson, Arizona. Mom's sister was there, and the only cousin I had my age was there. And yeah.
And how many siblings were there in your family?
Well, let's see. There were
Did you have?
three brothers in Mom's family, or in mine.
In yours?
In mine, I had 2 brothers and a sister.
And how were you the oldest?
I
of
was
the
the
family?
oldest
You
one.
were the
Yes.
oldest of the family. Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of your childhood memories? What kind of games did you play when you were a child?
Well, we jumped rope a lot.
Okay.
Lots of that. And there was a house that was down there that had a ball. You could play basketball. So there was a lot of basketball playing. But they didn't want girls to play, so I couldn't.
What kind of toys were there?
Well, we had a sled in the winter, and I had a bicycle. It was an old one, belonged to a cousin. But we were just happy. We were always playing something, playing basketball or baseball.
Just in the streets?
Right on the street.
Right in the streets, okay.
Well, you didn't have to worry about cars. There weren't that many cars up and down either.
Were the streets paved when you were growing up?
Yes.
So you also mentioned that you did some ice skating.
Yes, I loved to skate. When we skated every night in the wintertime, it was something to do.
Did everybody have their own skates?
We had our own skates, and my skates are still up there. Yeah.
Did you have, what kind of home entertainment was there? So when you were at home, inside?
Well, we played games. We put puzzles together a lot. We didn't have television until, well, when we got it, it was Daddy had that heart attack, and I bought him a TV. And then, especially for sports.
And so inside you mentioned that you played games. Were they
games.
card games or board games?
Board games.
Like,
board games,
do you remember some of them?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Were there usually just your family members, or did you have kids from the surrounding area?
No, this was open house. It's always been open house. You know that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Was there storytelling or music in your family?
Music. Well, we had a lot of music, but it was on tape. Okay. Lots of music on tape, and we still do. But as far as singing, Mom sang in the church choir. Well, I sang in the church choir too, and school choir. It was fun.
And what church did you go to?
Sudan Baptist.
Sudan Baptist.
Mm-hmm. But when in summertime, then we had Bible school, we went to all the churches.
How did you celebrate holidays, like maybe the 4th of July?
4th of July was fun. Mom always decorated something up we'd go down to Tower, and we were there all day long. There's games down there, and it was just fun. And then they had the at night, we could watch the parades. There's music going on all day, and a lot of people.
And fireworks were?
Fireworks. Oh yeah, we had fireworks. Yeah.
Did you also were there some, I believe that some of the Native Americans had a powwow, right?
A powwow,
They did
yeah.
dancing.
Yeah, they did that too. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's something that you don't see anymore.
We don't see it anymore. No. No. And that's too bad, you know. But you know, they would come around about Christmas time, and we always give them something. You know, they just like, they came around.
Oh, okay.
And then at Christmas, we had, oh, it was fun. The boys, the high school boys, they were dressed up like Santa Claus. And the Sudan store, well, it's a Sudan store now, but Daddy was in charge of it. And they would put together a box of candy and peanuts, and I can't remember what else. And every child in Sudan would get a box. Yeah. So that was fun.
Were there special services, church services?
We always,
Christmas
yeah,
time?
Christmas time, yeah, and Easter.
What special places in Sudan or Tower stand out in your mind as special places?
The school, the Sudan school, the most beautiful school. And then we went to, was it high school in Tower. Junior high in Sudan and high school in Tower.
Mm-hmm. And when you said it was a beautiful school, what was so beautiful about it?
Well, it was so clean. It was clean, and it was well kept, very well kept. Yes.
What other things beside the school did you spend time at, or feel that it was just a special part of being in Tower or Sudan?
Yeah, we didn't go out of town.
Did you go to like McKinley Park or Huda Point?
To where?
McKinley Park or
Oh,
Huda
McKinley
Point?
Park, yes, down skating. And then we had a place on the lake. Daddy had bought a piece of land on the lake. It was an island, and we put up a cabin there. We'd go there, but we would be there on weekends, you know, and never during they were on. When they were on, it wasn't a strike, but they closed down, you know, for vacation.
Yes.
Vacations, we always went someplace.
Okay. Do you remember where your cabin was?
Sure. It was the first one that was sold because Daddy bugged you with steel until they sold it. It's McKinley Park, between McKinley Park and when you come down with the let's see, you just go around the corner and it's right there.
Okay, so between McKinley Park and Huda Point.
Huda Point.
Okay, and then there was an island.
Mm-hmm.
You said then you went out
It's
to an island.
3-acre island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said that your family spent a lot of time there when the mines were down?
Yes.
And also during summer, right?
Summertime. But we always came in on Sunday for church. That was a must.
What sort of things did you do at the cabin?
Oh, I don't know. Fish. Play games. You know. Have other people come, and there was a lot of people that would come and visit.
What were some of the your favorite dishes that your mother made when you were growing up? Some of your favorite foods?
Oh, my mother was a wonderful baker, wonderful cook, and she used to make wedding cakes. She decorated wedding cakes, and yeah, we had a lot of good food.
Wow,
Yep.
my goodness.
She was very, very happy and very talented.
What are some of the great characters from this area that you remember growing up? The characters, in other words, people that kind of stood out and were known by almost everyone.
But well, we didn't have cars, so everyone knew everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and that was good. That was good. Yes.
Who were some of your favorite teachers?
Mr. Urick. Well, I liked all of them. there wasn't anyone that I really didn't like. I loved school. Yes.
And did you go beyond high school? Did you?
I went to Duluth business, and that was only for one semester, or, you know, half a year,
Okay.
and then went to work.
Do you remember any great stories or legends about Sudan or Tower? Like maybe some of the history?
Well, old settlers was a big thing, a real big thing, and people came from all over for old settlers. That was fun. That was fun. And that booyah that they made, oh my! But that was one of the big things in the summertime, was that picnic.
What sort of things did you do there?
Oh, there were games, and then we ate, and we ate, and we ate, and more games, you know, and it was just fun. You know, you would see that some of those people just once a year, you know, so it was good.
What did you do for fun, or I shouldn't say fun as a child, but did you have responsibilities? Did you have chores?
Washing dishes. It was either all the dishes in the, well, evening dishes, or, yes, it was a week at a time. I had to do all the dishes, and, yeah. And then my brothers had to help too, so.
Did you have jobs in high school?
No, in the summertime, I worked out at a resort.
What resort was that?
It was, let's see, one time, well, there were two different ones. I don't even remember who they were because they weren't around anymore, you know, they were older ones. And I worked there in the summertime.
And what did you do there?
Waited on people. What they did was, it was one kind of a dinner, and then I have to put it out, you know, just put it out.
Mm-hmm.
And collect the dirty dishes and help wash.
And did you stay there, or did you come home at night?
We stayed. There was two of us girls in the one cabin. They had small cabins where we would stay in. And then the other girl would take the laundry and do all the laundry, and I did all the help do the cooking and then served.
Do you remember the names of these girls that worked with you?
Oh.
No. They weren't from the Tower area.
Yeah, they were.
Okay. Do you remember some of the fondest things from high school? What were some of the fun things that you remembered?
Basketball and football. Yeah, and there was always something to do, you know. Skating, we skated in the winter every night, just about every night, unless there was a ball game.
What was your favorite class in school? What did you most enjoy?
I didn't think I had a favorite. I liked school. I really did. I liked school.
What life lessons have you learned based on where and how you were raised?
We were raised to be honest and respect people. And I think it's still like that. Yeah.
Even today?
Even
you still
today,
see
yes.
that as being very important.
Yeah.
Have you? I see that homecoming is on one of the pages here.
Yes.
What happened during homecoming?
Well, there was a dance, and there was a football game in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those. There's me.
And
I don't
it
know.
looked like maybe there was a little parade. Did they decorate cars and things and go down?
No, not that I can.
No?
I can remember.
Must have had a bonfire.
Bonfire. Yes.
Must have had a bonfire. Okay.
Yep.
And as you said, what were the sports that you had?
basketball, football,
Mm-hmm.
our great school.
Mm-hmm.
We went to school in Sudan, and then this was in high school
Sure.
because we had grade school in Tower and grade school in Sudan.
Okay.
And then I don't remember, about 7th grade, we were here, and Tower was for high school.
And were there athletic opportunities for girls in those days?
Well, you could be in a choir. I was in the choir, and a cheerleader, and I played a clarinet. And I left my clarinet there so someone else could have it.
But there weren't athletic opportunities. I mean, they didn't have any girls' sports teams or
Nothing
anything
that,
like
no,
that.
no, cheerleading, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, this was a nice place to live. It was. They were good. And then work on this. There was a lot of work that went to put in this out.
Were you in the yearbook, on the yearbook staff?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if there were any special events or people or things that you remember growing up that kind of...
Basketball. The one thing about basketball, Carlson's over here. They had it was an old barn, and we would go upstairs, and everyone gathered there to play basketball. I mean, you couldn't play well, you couldn't play both sides,
Mm-hmm.
but one side, and it was for the boys, but I sat there.
So tell me a little bit about the Sudan store.
Sudan store. Christmas time. My dad worked down. He didn't work down there, but he put this together. They would get candy and peanuts, and they would put these in the containers, and when the high school boys or the college boys would take them and go to every family in Sudan, and each child would get a box, and it would have candy in it, and in a bag then, and they would have an apple and an orange. How could I remember all this stuff?
Mm-hmm. And did you as a child go up to the Sudan store to buy things?
Well, not very often. Once in a while we would, but not very often.
Did you have an allowance?
No, we didn't have an allowance. No. And then I worked in the summertime and at Birch Point, and then one more place at Bayview one time.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've had a very interesting life.
Very much so.
And lived in a place that you really loved.
Yeah, that I liked, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed being in Pittsburgh for the little time I was there, and then that was just to see what U.S. Steel had and meet the people that I talked to on the phone all the time, and that was wonderful. Yeah, it was a good life.
Good. Well,
Good
thank
life,
you so much,
yeah.
Jackie.
Yep. And then when Joel was up at Alaska, Mom and I drove out to Seattle.
And this is your brother?
Pardon?
Joel is your brother?
My brother, yeah.
Okay.
And when we got to someplace let's see, where we would fly up, I would leave my car at their airport, not in their airport, their garage, and then they would pick me up when we got back. Matter of fact, they gave me a nickel to call them and tell them I was back to Minnesota. Back to the States, and then he would bring the car. They had my Mustang. It was a car. I didn't know they were such a special car.
Special thing, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay, thank you very much, Jackie.